If you are somebody who is looking to shape your life more powerfully, this is a superpower. It will get you further in terms of influence, in terms of shaping things towards your outcomes than any strategic manipulation or tactical influence stuff or anything like that. It is powerful. It is a way of being that simply influences. Hey guys, how's it going? This is James Tripp. It's a video for James Tripp Chaos Wave. We are discussing the subject of grounding or groundedness and why this quality, when you learn to connect with it within yourself, will become your most profound hidden superpower in life in terms of being able to shape your life in the direction that you want it to go, being able to influence the unfolding of your life towards the kind of outcomes you want. So let's look at this, grounding and groundedness. Let's start with the question that's triggered it off. It's a question that came in from Mike via the Self-Hypnosis and Personal Alchemy Resource Hub. And Mike asks, James, I am curious what your definition of grounded is. Is it the same as present and aware? And if not, how is it different? Now, this is a great question from Mike because I tend to reference grounding or groundedness a lot. You can probably find YouTube videos where I've mentioned it. I certainly mention it a lot in the Beyond the Subtle Fears program I put out a few years ago. I mention it in the Self-Hypnosis and Personal Alchemy. And I'll give you the answer I gave to Mike via the comments section first, and then we'll dig a little bit deeper. So my reply to Mike was, hi Mike, probably the best answer to this will be conducted by video, but for the moment, it's more about bringing a sense of profound capability to each moment of your life, knowing that whatever happens, you are okay and you will handle what you need to. So whatever happens, you are okay and you will handle what you need to. Now, when you meet someone who has groundedness, grounding, who knows that they're okay, whatever is going to happen, that everything is okay, what you meet is somebody who has a certain sense of calm and a certain sense of presence and a certain power to them that gets picked up non-verbally. You can literally feel it, you can sense it. You might not be consciously thinking about it, but it's there and it influences. You get the sense that you are in the presence of somebody that's got things nailed down, that's switched on, that's switched up, that is present. And the reason that you get this sense is because we human beings, we are tuned into each other's non-verbals, and one thing we're particularly tuned into is threat, danger, fear, this kind of thing. So when you meet somebody who is grounded, one thing that is not firing off within their system are their threat response systems. There are no threats being managed, there is no danger, so they're able to show up purely in a place of being and creation and all of this kind of thing, and people pick it up. They pick it up outside of consciousness because nonverbal communication influences outside of consciousness. They're not there thinking, oh, here's a person who's grounded or here's a person who's switched on. They just get a sense. They just get a sense. Now, if you are somebody who is looking to shape your life more powerfully, this is a superpower. It will get you further in terms of influence, in terms of shaping things towards your outcomes than any strategic manipulation or tactical influence stuff or anything like that. It is powerful. It is a way of being that simply influences. And it is quite developable because it is actually an innate quality. There are times and places where all of us are totally grounded. Our threat response systems are not triggering off in any way. In fact, you know, a lot of the reason that people do addictions is because when they're doing the addictions, their threat response systems are switched off. They're able to be fully present in that moment, engaged with what they're doing, and it feels phenomenal. Now, a lot of the time, why people seek out addictive behavior to try and get this sense of grounding is because they're taking themselves out of their threat response systems. But what they're not seeing is most of the rest of the time, the threats they're responding to are largely mind-made. So this is the first step to developing grounding, is starting to recognize where there's something real to be addressed in the world, where there's a real problem that you can actually engage with and actually make a difference with that is happening right now, versus problems that we are making up in our minds that might be happening and we're trying to manage, but we end up not being present. Mike mentioned being present. We disappear off into hallucinatory spaces in our minds trying to solve problems that are just not here to be solved. Classic examples are in social situations where people think, oh my God, is this person thinking this about me? Or are they thinking, I hope I'm making a good impression. It would be terrible if they thought. And they're getting into these spaces, speculating about things that aren't actually things that are present. They're not things that are really happening that they can actually engage with and make a difference with. So the first step to developing grounding and groundedness is starting to understand which threats in the world are purely mind-made, that aren't really a danger to you. We make up things that are a danger to us all the time, like, oh my God, what if I deliver this presentation and somebody laughs at me? Then they laugh, and then you go on and live the rest of your life, and that's it. No real harm came to you. Oh, but what if it affects my chances of, this is mind-made. This is not reality. So a lot of people, most people, are in the habit of making up what-if scenario problems in their head. They're not actually happening in the world, but they're up there in their head, and they get pulled into them. Their threat response system starts firing off. They lose their grounding or their groundedness. Now, these two terms, grounding, groundedness, they're slightly different terms, and they enable us to look at this in slightly different ways. Groundedness to me is a state of being, but it comes about through grounding. Now, you can be grounded in any set of understandings about anything. So if you, there's a question I often ask people when they come to see me for coaching, because I live in a reasonably busy part of Edinburgh in the city centre. I say, did you cross any roads on your way here? And they will say yes. I say, did you get anxious or nervous when you're crossing the road? They say, no. I say, you do know that it's dangerous, traffic and everything? They say, yeah. I say, so why were you not fearful? And they usually come up with some sort of answer like, well, because I know how to cross roads. So what they've got is they've got certain knowledge, deep knowledge about that situation that informs them and develops this sense of capability. They know they're quite capable of crossing roads. So even though we can make a case that road crossing is a dangerous activity, there is no need for their threat response systems to come online because they are grounded in their understandings about how that sort of situation works and how they can conduct themselves safely. So they coordinate themselves using their intelligence and their understanding about that situation rather than just going into reactive mode, firing up the threat response system going, what if I get hit by a car? So there's a simple example of context-specific grounding or being grounded in a set of understandings that serve and enable you to engage competently. Now, technically, we can pick any context and we can develop context-specific grounding. You'll get some people that perform as musicians because they're so grounded in their understanding of their instrument. It's not really a big deal. They may also need some further grounding and an understanding about human dynamics and life and this kind of thing, if they're not going to worry about, oh, but what if I do make a mistake and everybody thinks I'm a terrible musician? So there may be some further grounding required. Now, when I'm talking about general grounding, you see, because here's the thing, it's a bit much of an ask to go through every context you might encounter in life and specifically figure out what you need to know to build a profound sense of capability, because that's why the person doesn't fear crossing the road, because they have a profound sense of capability in being able to cross the road because of the understandings, the knowledge that they're grounded in about how that situation works and what's true for them. So if we chunk up from any individual circumstance, we can get to a place of sort of an awareness of the metastructures of how the human mind works, how our minds work, how other people's minds work, how human dynamics and interplays work, and this sort of thing. And start looking and analyzing those and seeing where our unconscious rules create unnecessary fear, unnecessary triggering of our threat response systems. Because here's the thing, I say this often to clients, is people worry about whether they can handle anything or not. But anyone who ever sits in front of me as a client, truth is they've handled everything that's ever come their way in their lives. You, as you watch this video, have handled everything that has ever come your way in your life. You have lived to fight another day. Now, I'm aware that you can look back over your past and you can get up into some judgmental mindset and say, yeah, but I should have handled it better, I shouldn't have done that. This is all mental noise. It's not truth or facts or reality. It's just mental noise. It's idea loops that often create pain. The fact is, you're still here. You handled it. Nothing's put you down. Nothing's killed you. Nothing's taken you out the game yet. So you handled everything. If you'd have done so less fearlessly, you'd have probably had a better time doing it. But there's another truth here, which is you will continue to handle everything else that comes your way in the future. You will, until you don't. And that time comes to everybody, and there's an end of the road, you know, where we shuffle into the next life or turn back into space dust or whatever it is that you believe. But until that time, you will handle everything. You will handle everything. Now, me personally, I like to handle what comes up, what there is to handle, what I can get my metaphorical hands on. I don't want to spend a lot of time in some kind of mental simulation about possible horrors in the world, or what if this or what if that. And if I am in those spaces, I want to see how they're built, because I want to unbuild them. I want to pull them apart, because fear extremely rarely does fear serve us. It is extremely rare that fear serves us. You could say, oh no, it keeps us safe. Well, how come I cross the road fearlessly? A genuinely dangerous system. Why do I not require fear? Because fear is a default system. It is there as an emergency response to serve us until we develop capability. So the thing is to do that bit of work, develop the capability, build groundedness into yourself. And I think this is a very worthwhile thing to do. So you might be watching this asking, how do you do this? And I cannot give you a technique. I can give you many techniques. People who already have bought the Self-Hypnosis and Personal Alchemy, which I am not promoting at the moment, but I'll mention it anyway, or Beyond the Subtle Fears, or any of these programs that I've done in the past, will know that I share a lot of stuff about how to develop yourself as somebody who can go beyond fear, go beyond that default threat response stuff, and start to get into being a person who lives their lives through coordinating their understandings and their intelligence, and develops grounding this way. There's no simple formula. I can no more say this is how you do it than I could say to you this is how you win a tennis match. You win a tennis match by developing your tennis skills, by developing your understanding of the game, and then playing and playing well. So this is the same for any aspect of life, particularly when it comes to managing our personal psychology. The skills that we develop in managing our personal psychology, these are not simple how-to formulas, they are deep skill sets. And this is something, again, I emphasize in Self-Hypnosis and Personal Alchemy. It's about building that embodied skill set. You will, if you are diligent and you want to do this, you will find much information throughout my YouTube channels, particularly the videos that are not about hypnosis, that are going to help you do this. There are many roads. I would recommend starting to check out stuff like Stoicism, get it deeply in the body. I would recommend checking out Byron Katie's work, get it deeply in the body. 3 Principles, General Semantics, Buddhism. There's so many rich sources that you can draw on if you're looking to seriously up your game as a grounded creator in your life. This is my bias. But the material's out there, and of course, I provide a lot of material myself, and I provide one-on-one personal psychology coaching. I also have a Power of 8 group coming soon, group coaching group coming soon, but that's something I'll be mentioning in the not too distant future. So there you go, grounding, groundedness. Why is it important? Because if you want to be a profound influencer of other people, and let's face it, a lot of shaping your life is about being able to influence other people, recruit them to your cause. Showing up grounded gives you a solid base which connects deeply into their unconscious perceptions of you. You are going to recruit people to your cause. You're going to have people saying to themselves, this is somebody I want to be around. Why? Because that sense that you're grounded, you can handle it. People like to be around that. Not someone who's boasting that they can handle it, but something that's deep down in the mix. It just naturally recruits people. And fearfulness, neediness, outcome attachment, stuff that fires off the threat response systems, you can mitigate it, but it generally is off-putting for most people. It doesn't recruit people to your cause. It doesn't instill confidence. So this is why I'm calling it here a secret superpower. Okay, so I thank you for watching this video. If you're still watching this video, that's a complex thing to unpack in a short video like this. But if you got something from this, if it's opening your eyes, opening your mind to something, please do give it the thumbs up, hit like there. And also, if you're looking for more deep knowledge on using your mind to shape your life, developing grounding, living as a creative force, do subscribe to this channel, James Tripp Chaos Wave. Hit that notifications bell so you'll know when the videos come out. If you have any questions, anything like that, the comment section is where to go. That way we get to continue this conversation.